Chapter 18. In the boat. This time it felt just like a premonition. In the dream, I felt like a ghost. I was there with you, transparent to your sight. You looked right through me, not seeing me. My love for you keeps these dreams alive. There is something familiar about the place. There by the water we stood, yet you did not see me. I watched you enter your sailboat. I tried to call out to you. I was scared of losing you. I watched you drift away, fading out of sight. The boat I enter takes me back in time, back to you. Chapter 19. Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. I like to think I'm just like anyone else, that we all have limits. There's only so much we can take, so much pain, fear, loss, trauma. There's only so much any of us can experience and remain sane and remain true to our ideals, our values, who we are, and the person we have become. When the pain, the fear, the terror, the trauma exceeds this limit, we snap, and for a while we drift away to someplace in our mind, someplace utterly unknown, unexpected, outside reality. Maybe we come back, and then again, maybe we don't. It depends on what might call us back. A reflectionist poem. The above poem is inspired by the, quote, confessional poetry of Anne Sexton and Sylvia Plath, who wrote about their inner experiences, their psyche. They both took their lives. Anne Sexton wrote To Bedlam and Partway Back, which was her collection inspired by mental illness and psychiatric hospitalization. I guess she never made it all the way back since she took her life. I made it back. Chapter 20. Fugue State. Introduction to the poem. Dissociative fugue, formerly called a fugue state or psychogenic fugue, is a rare psychiatric phenomena characterized by reversible amnesia for one's identity in conjunction with unexpected wandering or travel. This is sometimes accompanied by the establishment of a new identity and the inability to recall personal information prior to the presentation of symptoms. After recovery from a fugue state, previous memories usually return intact and further treatment is unnecessary. Fugue state. I came to or awoke to find myself walking somewhere unknown. I'm not sure how I got here, where here is, or where I am going. A misty rain blurs my vision as the sun is sinking and fog is moving, surrounding everything. I look at the street signs, which taunt me, unrecognizable, meaningless markers. I want to run, but run where? Which way? A sense of wanting to go back in time. I try to remember, but nothing comes to mind, explaining how I got here, where I'm going, where my home is. I want to get back. Yes, that is it. Back to another time. I begin to question whether I even know for certain who I am. Hour after hour passed, and it has gotten dark and very cold. The winter streets are slick. There is no sidewalk. Cars come around each corner far too fast, coming far too close to me, their lights in my face. I tell myself with each car approaching that it will safely avoid me, just like the car before it did, that the lightning will wait until I get somewhere, not home. A part of me knows my home is gone, but maybe I can get somewhere relatively safe, and the dogs I hear will stay away, not even noticing me. No one even knows where I am, much less cares when I'll be home. Awareness trickles in like the thinning fog, memories. What I knew, believed, was that this, being alone, lost, without a sense of identity, was a state of mind that would endure, follow me, and I would continue to walk unknown streets and unknown places, alone, and nobody is waiting for me anywhere. Then I think that things begin to look familiar, but I'm uncertain. I want to run, but I'm tired and unsure how far I have to go. I try to remember, but nothing comes to mind to explain how I got here, where I'm going, where I live, where my home is. The people I pass look unfriendly. Not dangerous, they just don't convey anything resembling kindness or friendship. They don't know me. They don't pay me much attention. What would I say anyway? Ask them to tell me who I am, or ask them where I am? I cannot ask them how to get where I'm going, because I do not know that. I don't know if I'm afraid of the ridicule or convinced of the futility in even trying to get help. I remember falling to the ground out of weakness, not reverence, and prayerfully crying out, "Please help me." How pointless to believe. But I have a roommate. There's a convenience store where I stop and call my roommate, and I wait. Chapter 21. Fugue State Revisited. I wake up disoriented, confused. I'm in a hospital, I think. I don't seem to be sick or injured. No bandages. I feel no pain. No monitors or hospital things. Nothing is familiar when I look outside. It's dark, quiet. I'm not sure who I am, but I'm afraid to ask. Afraid they'll think I'm crazy. Tears stream down my face. I feel such a sense of loss, of what I don't know. Maybe I don't want to remember. No, I don't care anymore. Somebody help me, I scream against the cold, empty, echoing hospital walls. The dream ends just as suddenly. I'm home in bed. It's just a dream. The trauma is over. It was long ago, and I'll always have the scar to remind me of what happened. You'd think I'd want to forget, but memory is an important thing now. You could say that is why I'm writing this book, to remember. Chapter 22. Dreamed I was a ghost. I dreamed I was a ghost, seeking you, screaming your name, but you would not answer. Then I could not find you. I was alone, an invisible spectator, watching everything around me, unable to be heard or seen, haunting the once familiar spaces, now haunted, terrified by the strangeness of it all. Chapter 23. Flashback. It's funny how a place can age regress you, take you back in time, but that's what happened when I was there and saw it. It was like the years instantly had receded and folded in and back, and I was there, not just at a place, but at a time. There's a man-made jetty that curves out to a small island on this beach south of Wilmington. If you look out at this picture, the photograph draws your eye into the image, and in a similar fashion, visiting this place, my mind was drawn into a focused trance state, instantly age regressing by many years to that first date she and I spent together, and my new life began. Today, visiting this place, I was taken by surprise by the intensity of this place and time and the feeling it created. Chapter 24. I want to believe the warmth will return. On this cold autumn beach, I stare at the waves, and I don't know if I'm looking forward or backward in time, but I remember the warmth and the life that was here, and I want to believe and I want to hope that this season of death is only temporary, and I want to believe and I want to hope that the warmth will return. Chapter 25. Loss of self and identity. Sometimes I'm afraid that having found myself, my voice, and my self-expression, that the ideas will stop coming, that I'll stop writing, maybe losing some sense of myself. My writing, being a writer, is who I am, and every writer faces the fear that the ideas will one day run out, and that all that will remain are old poems, old ideas, the same old stories told and retold, like memories of what once was, like someone you loved and lost. But it's not exactly like that. These ideas I've shared will always be there, like children, like anything else that is a part of ourselves, a creation. Like everything else in my poems, my writing, are still alive and, hopefully, always will be a part of me, ready to be reborn. Chapter 26. Lost. How could I have gotten so lost? I thought I recognized where I was going, until it hit me that I didn't know where I was heading or what road I was on. It was dark. The road signs made no sense. So I drove faster and faster. Eventually something will make sense, I thought. Fear began to rise in me, an existential fear of total isolation and more. Heart racing, sweaty palms, and bed sheets. It's just a dream, so I decided to get off the road I was on, to turn down another road. It was a bizarre choice. There was nothing familiar about this road onto which I was turning. I had no idea where it would lead. Some vague and unknown instinct told me to turn. I've had this dream more than once. I try to think about its meaning, adding my commentary as an observing voice in the dream. The last turn before I wake up, I would never have taken the turn, if anything at all about the road I'd been on was at all familiar, and if I had not been so desperately and passionately scared and lost. I always wake up shortly after making the turn, because instead of relieving my fear, I begin to feel even more terrified, a sense of foreboding, an even greater existential fear than I had known previously, my heart racing. I get the thought, even in the dream state, no, I cannot face this. And so I wake up, yet there's no resolution, never a coming to understand how I have gotten so lost.